Hello. It is good to see you, my friends. Happy Saturday. Yes, the reason why Camera Mandy, what she didn't want to tell you, but it's okay, I'll tell you. I wasn't going to say anything.
No. You
I shouldn't tell him?
No.
Why not? It's quite, I mean, it's crazy. It's a great story.
Okay, well, you...
All right, so I have a condition. I've had it since I was a kid. It's called tachycardia, okay? So tachycardia is where sometimes when you're getting like exercise, your heart kind of gets fluttery. It's weird. And you kind of fix it by bearing down and then it goes away. And you want to keep yourself hydrated, not do too much caffeine. There's a bunch of things that go along with it. Anyway, it's not really life-threatening or anything like that. So anyway, what night was that, cameraman? It would have been...
that was 2 days ago.
Yeah,
the event happened...
It would have been Wednesday
the night. Yeah.
So Wednesday night, Ms. Goo had gone to bed, and I was...
No, it would have been Tuesday night.
Tuesday night.
Yeah.
Tuesday night. I think it was. Tuesday night, Ms. Goo had gone to bed, and I was sitting watching a little television and doing a little Facebooking like I want to do. And my heart started doing this weird fluttery thing. And it felt a little bit like tachycardia, but it didn't really feel like tachycardia. It was different. And so I thought, well, you know what? It's just, I mean, I've had this happen many, many times. So it's not something I didn't think there was no pain. I didn't think I was having a heart attack or anything like that. So I thought, well, it'll probably just resolve itself. I drank some water, took a magnesium and went to bed. And I did fall asleep, and I woke up the next morning, and it was still doing the fluttery thing, cameraman D.
What you don't know is that he actually did not wake up the next morning.
I didn't.
No.
I am zombified.
You are zombified like
Zombie, like Geralt.
Geralt, that's what I was trying to say.
I'm Geralt zombified. I'm Alphinius' zombified body. Yes, I'm more entertaining than Alphinius. Now, actually, that reminds me of the movie, the Christmas movie with where he becomes Santa Claus, and then Santa Claus 2 or 3, and there's a robot, and he takes over. Anyway, forget all that. Anyway, so I go to the office that morning, and my heart is still doing that fluttery thing, and I'm like, this is not good. And so Colt, who's one of our partners here, he says, you need to put on my Apple Watch. And I'm like, why do I have to wear your Apple Watch? He says, we're going to check your pulse. So he puts it on, and he goes, dude, your pulse is all screwed up. And he wasn't incorrect. It was about 125 or 130, and I was just sitting there, and it was kind of wobbly and weird looking. And he goes, you need to go to the doctor. So I said, okay, I'll go to the doctor. So I went to the doctor, and went to the emergency room, and they had, there wasn't many people there, so it was good. So there's it was quick in, and I'm in there, and they're hooking me up to all these things and taking blood and doing all this stuff. And a little while goes by, and the doctor comes in, and he says, well, you have an atrial flutter. I said, is that AFib? He goes, no, that is not AFib. This is a flutter. It is where you get your electrical thing got a little out of sorts. And I said, well, how do we fix that, doc? He said, well, we're going to shock your heart. I'm like, what? No, seriously, cameraman D, we're going to shock your heart. So
see, like, the thing is, all the people who are watching are like, thank goodness that we're getting in on this Gooey Cube thing in the ground floor, because
I'm ready to kick the bucket. Anyway, so they did it. So they put this thing on the front of my chest and this thing on my back, and they give you an anesthesia that knocks you out for like 5 minutes or 10 minutes. And apparently I jumped off the bed and almost hit the two ladies that were next to me with my arms because the one lady didn't say clear. and my heart feels great. It's just clicking along.
Thank you, Hentaya, by the way.
What? Do we lose viewers on that?
No, you gained viewers.
Oh, wow.
Hentaya sent me a link that I believe is confirming my story about the car. Which I know.
No way, it's confirmed.
Wow. Yeah. So to be clear, your story is very important.
Cameraman, that's what I say. We were talking about my heart being zapped, and now we're talking about how important your car story is.
I know. Your story is more important, but the link happened to come up right when right at the
top of at the peak of my pinnacle of my scale. So anyway, I want to tell you all, this is something else to have your heart zapped. So my heart literally got zapped, and apparently, and it is very normal. It feels very normal. It's not doing anything, and apparently, it could be that this will never happen again. So anyway, that's my story.
So get your worthless Alphinius signatures while you can.
They go up in value if I kick the bucket, Kevin.
But please don't. I'd rather you not. Okay.
Yes, they go up in value.
So here's the deal. The car story. Just really quickly, we'll wrap it up and then we're going to go social media. Okay. Bertha Benz hits the road. So it was in August 1888, Bertha Benz, the 39-year-old wife of German engineer Carl Benz, made history when she became the first person to complete a long-distance trip by automobile. The trip helped popularize Carl Benz's invention and likely saved him from professional and financial ruin. So that's like ladies getting it done. Yeah, I'm just saying. Yeah, she took that car and she
Because old Benzito himself was afraid.
So
I'm not driving this piece of shit. Oh, I didn't mean to say that, Camarati.
Okay.
My apologies for any children watching this, except for you, Rin.
Did you say the S word?
Nothing.
Okay. Anyway, let's quickly go do social media because we have You're Awesome. And my buttons are back, I'd like to say. So
the buttons.
My StreamYard buttons have been restored. I came in early and fixed a bunch of things on the computer.
I want to speak about this, cameraman. Yeah, listen, I appreciate you wouldn't fix it. Nobody cares about that, cameraman.
I know.
Now listen, this is not going to be canon.
This is literally the funniest thing I think that's ever been posted in the
No, it is not the funniest thing.
It's one of the funniest things.
So we have the giant snail, the giant turtle, and what is that? A
sloth.
Sloth?
Yeah, so it's all like the very slow.
The tiny slow.
The battle between the three behemoths dragged on for months in the city. I think that it would be hysterical if there was some city in some little paragraph in lore.
No, cameraman.
In the region of East Verdestia.
No, cameraman. Yes, we'll just have it take over Zilitar City. I'm sure Corey Locobutt himself will like that.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Oh, speaking of
yes, Locobutt.
Plots on Darkenhaven, the final episode of season 1 is going to re-air on Twitch on Monday. It does have me in it. So
Cameramendi.
Just saying.
Co-starring or guest starring or whatever they call that.
Yes. So anyway, and then next week, so not this Monday, but then the next one, season 2, episode 1 airs. So yes, very exciting. Very exciting. So that's here on Twitch. So okay, next up. Sorry for the weird formatting here. But Pam.
Actually, I think that works great. Then people can actually see it.
It's just not in the box. I know I need to redo my Twitch overlays.
I think it's fine, cameraman.
Okay.
I think everyone would be like, that's totally cool.
Yeah.
What do you think, Chad? Is that totally cool? You can say that's totally cool in the chat right now if you want to.
Anyway, if you happen to be in the Bay Area, which I don't know that many people who are, to be honest. So
except for it's Labor Day.
Pam.
Yeah, bro.
Labor Day.
Yeah, Labor.
If you happen to be in the Bay Area over Labor Day weekend, Pam's running games. I think Lance is running games. There's one other person. I don't know. They're running games. And if you happen to be in the Bay Area and want to run games, Pacificon is a great place. And Armando the Bard is a fun person.
Love that guy. And we're thinking about, Ms. Goo and I are thinking about cruising out there. We have a discussion, so we're trying to figure out what we might do.
Okay. Well, sounds good. So Pam says that she did this from her phone, which is why it says Labor Day.
Labor Day.
But I think we should make it Labor Day.
Labor Day is way cooler than Labor Day.
She says, look at the replies. I cannot on the stream, but I will look at them afterwards, Pam, or post them in the chat, and then I can look at them. So anyway, Pacificon. Good stuff.
So Cameramendi is sitting there over there, and she's like pointing at the camera, like she's on the camera. Pacificon. Good stuff. Pacificon.
But I haven't bothered to change it here.
Yes, but you didn't change it.
Pacificon. Good stuff.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay, there we go. Oh, it's so nice to have my buttons back.
Oh, button heaven. Now, listen, this, except for it's got absinthe in it, everybody. I think I said it needed Jell-O.
Interesting.
Oh, yeah, there's a lot. There's a lot going on in there. Now, Zixie, Rob, of course, had said, no way. He says, we got to start with Midori.
Pam says in the comments here, there is the schedule. So if you go to this post, you can see the schedule.
Okay, the schedule is in the comments.
Yes, because if you press on this link, which I did press on the link just takes you to the Pacificon website, and I don't think the games have been posted yet. So good call to put the schedule in there, Pam. Okay. So anyway, yes. Listen, last time, have I told this story before?
I don't know, Cameramendi.
Okay, so is
this one of those drunken Cameramendi stories?
No. We, so we wanted gooey green drinks for some of our VIP games at Genghis and I just had not had the time to go to the liquor store. So I woke up, got off early the morning of this VIP game, and tried to go to liquor stores around Denver. Now, people may not know this if they don't travel outside the immediate area of where Genghis is, but it's right next to this street that's kind of infamous in Colorado. It's called Colfax, and things go down on Colfax, if you know what I'm saying. So I'm up super early in the morning, driving around to, I had to go to like 3 different liquor stores. I was looking for Midori because I wanted a green drink, and no one had Midori. And eventually I was just like, I just have to buy something because like the game's starting. I'm like still in my pajamas, and I go up to this counter, and I go to buy like $300 in liquor, and I give him my credit card, and the guy goes, "This ain't you. This is fake. This ain't you." And I am like so fed up at this point. I am like, what do you mean this isn't me? Like, here's my ID. Here's my, give me the liquor. Give me the liquor. Anyway.
Well, this has happened many times in Camera Mandy's life. Not just this one time.
Anyway, so that's my tale. And we did not end up.
Did you get the liquor?
No. Well, I did end up at that point. I was just like, I begged him. I'm like, look, I promise this isn't fake. I promise these are real credit cards. I promise I'm a real person and I'm not trying to, do whatever. And then he ended up just taking my personal credit card instead of my business one because it had a picture of me on the back. And I'm like, oh my gosh. Anyway, but we did not end up with Midori. There was no gooey green drinks because for some reason, none of these liquor stores had Midori. And that's my tale.
Put cream de menthe in this. I mean, when you read this for a minute, you think this might not be very good. But we appreciate Stephanie.
Pam says now you can just send Lawrence, and I agree with that. Actually, I send Iad now.
Yeah. Iad can be the booze boy. Go, booze boy.
He enjoys it. He enjoys picking out the booze. Okay. Let's move on. I'm sorry. We spent a lot of time talking about the alcohol.
Adorable.
Yes. Brian says, to heck with the dice jail. Naughty dice that betray me at a key moment in a campaign get fed to my pet gelatinous cube. And I did think this is like super adorable.
Yes. Fantastic.
Adorable. Okay.
Yes, I had to post it, cameraman.
I won't spend too much time on this. It was funny though, because if you go read the comments, the only people who really want Lawrence are Pam, Michelle,
Rick,
JC, and Rick. Yeah.
I already said that I would bid. I want Lawrence. I will bid.
You'll bid for Lawrence?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, sounds good.
He helps me out a lot.
So, and just to be clear, the reason why this came up was because when we were kids, my mom, there was a Mary-Kate and Ashley Olsen skit called Brother for Sale, and my mom made us.
It was a song.
Yes. Brother for Sale, only 50 cents. Yeah.
Brother for Sale.
Yeah.
Not a big expense.
Well,
yes,
you know this song.
I do.
You probably had to watch us perform it a few times.
Old Kimberly.
That's true. That's true. Anyway, so we had to perform this skit at like a million different events and functions for talent shows. And then as adults, we thought for Mother's Day one year, because she has this weird thing, my mom, she has Mother's Day, her birthday, and her anniversary all on the same day every 4 years. And so we performed it for her again, and it delighted her. And that is that story. And now we'll move on. But if you want to bid, you're more than welcome to.
Though, but you can see that Lawrence does not have a beard in this.
This was many years ago.
Yes, this was when you were young.
God, this has to be like...
You were children,
Mandy. I know. Like, I think I was probably 30.
Yeah, 27.
Yeah, somewhere in there.
Okay, Camera Mandy.
What?
This is disgusting.
Okay, did you know that... Okay.
What?
Near where the throat is where the mating bits are on a snail.
I know. They,
I did not know this.
Well, what are they going to do? You got a shell. You're gonna have to. You're gonna have the sexual opening, as they call it, right there, right next to the esophagus.
I don't know why it's changed the way I looked at escargot.
Yeah, well, there's many things about escargot that are very disturbing.
Okay. Anyway, quickly.
And of course, you went right to the dirty part, Camera Mandy.
I couldn't help it, and I don't think you could either.
I
think everybody who looks at this thing
immediately goes to the dirty part.
If you did not, you may message
What's
me.
The pedal?
Yeah.
I want to know what the pedal gland is. the cerebral ganglia is kind of the brain, but I want to know what the pineal gland is.
You know what I like? I do like all these little facts that get posted. So there was another one.
No, it's fantastic.
This
is great.
There is a snake in Africa whose venom causes your blood to not only stop clotting, but to come running out of every hole in your body. It's called the boomslang snake.
Yes.
So, yeah, it just.
And then I found out that boomslang was like, it meant something like, green snake or something like that. It was really bothersome. I thought like the boom slang, that's very cool, and then it ended up meaning not very much interesting. But yes.
Very cool.
You definitely need to make your saving throw. This, Camera Mandy, I've talked about this before. In fact, I think it is in one of our adventures. But
with all the dragons, griffins, pegasus, manticores, and wyverns flying around D&D, the probability of being pooped on during an adventure feels like it should be on a random encounter table.
Can you imagine the load, Camera Mandy, from those big old dragons flying over? Yes, or a flock of giant eagles. Oh, God.
I'm sorry.
You'd be completely immersed.
Oh, you had to take
Camera Mandy, you're becoming hysterical.
Saving throws on the poop.
You're becoming hysterical.
I'm sorry. I mean, just imagine like you're in the middle of this epic battle.
You're epic.
And then this giant pile of poop.
Turd.
Yeah, and like it probably hurts.
Turded.
It probably hurts. Like it probably gives you a significant amount of damage.
There's damage, and if it's thick and big enough, you could drown. I mean, there's all kind of dangerous things.
That's what I'm saying. Saving throws to see if you can get out of the poop.
And then if you get out,
imagine if you're a halfling or any of the small folk. I'm sorry. Okay.
Well, we lost 43 viewers of the 47, right?
I think they're all for it. Our chat's popping off.
Our chat's loving that you are hysterical right now.
Ken says, while I see his point, my own proclivities will keep poop-related encounters to an extreme minimum. That is close to zero. There's no need for this to be part of my gaming sessions. I mean, yeah, it would be pretty horrifying.
But seriously, griffins and hippogriffs and wyverns. Yes, of course. Pegasus. Yes.
What if you can't get to a lake or a shower? Okay, I'm sorry.
Oh, your charisma. Your charisma is like 3.
Oh my God. Anyway.
Yes, I had to post this, Camera Mandy.
So what is that?
So there's a thing that the Idle Champions of the Forgotten Realms that was created by Luke, and they've got some of the old characters as a part of this. So it's pretty cool. People, if they get a second, they should check it out. It's worth taking a peek at.
Where can you find it at?
It's on. I think there's a link. Was it in the post? So it's if you just check the post, I think there's a link.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, looks like a lot of fun.
Worth taking a peek. Look at Luke. He's got this. He's
intense.
He's got this.
I need to do a photo of you like this. Yes, I need to do like an intense, like nicely lit photo.
Actually, what we should do is a bunch of us photographed like this and put them all next to Luke.
Okay, we can do that. Okay, so Pam
has got a lot of posts up in this gooey thing.
She only has 2.
Oh, I wasn't saying bad things. I was saying good things.
But yes, so Sky Raiders by Tracy and Laura Hickman. Do you know anything about this?
I do not. I just saw it, and I'm going to research it when I get a chance. But Pam put it up, and I just saw it.
Well, I like the cover. Like the cover kind of gives you the idea of it. So, which it looks like some kind of sky ship. If I'm actually,
at first I thought they were breath mints.
I mean, maybe that's what's inside there.
It looks like it's
that'd actually be some good swag.
It looks like a card game, doesn't it? Yeah. That's what I think it is. I think it's a card game, but I do not know. I know nothing.
Pam says sky ships and pirates. Okay. Yeah.
Very nice.
I think that sounds like a lot of fun. And obviously we love the Hickmans. So
yes, we do.
Okay. Ginny D had a funny post.
Of course you liked it, Camera Mandy, because it's got a colorful language as a part of it.
Yes, I do love a good colorful language joke. I have a proposal. Let's shorten armor and class to ass, and then you can say, does a 24 hit your ass? Does a 24 Sorry. I think it's funny.
It's funny to me.
Okay, sounds good. Okay.
The chat clearly, what does the chat think of it?
Yes. Has she dropped another F-bomb today yet? No,
she has not.
I will not.
Not
today.
yet. Oh, she will not.
Yeah.
This is a promise made upon the snail. I promise. Oh, goodness gracious. I have to be careful now. because you could actually put your hand upon its what was it called? The sexual organ thing. What was it called? In the anatomy.
On the snail?
Yes. Sexual opening. So it doesn't have a sexual thing. It just has a sexual opening.
Wow, this took a...
But anyway, keep going.
Well, maybe this is the female.
How do I actually, I thought they were hermaphroditic.
Oh my goodness. Well,
I thought that, but I don't remember for sure.
Clearly we have not had enough education in the den about snails.
Maybe someone in the chat will let us know.
Okay. They are both.
Yes, that's what I thought. Yes, that's
interesting.
what I thought.
Okay.
I'm glad. I love the fact that we have such a smart bunch of people in our chat too.
Saying.
They're not just goofy weirdos. They're smart goofy weirdos, Camera Mendy. What are you looking at right now?
Oh,
you're intense.
Yeah, because the comment got moderated, but it's an educational one. So most land snails are hermaphrodites, both male and female within one individual. Okay, I can't read this aloud on stream, but there's a very informational comment in the chat.
During snail coitus.
So,
ooh, snail coitus.
Okay. Anyway, that's enough. That's enough for that.
There's all kinds of perverted videos on the internet.
I do not post this in the den. They will get moderated. So, anyway.
All right, let us continue on.
Okay.
This is all Chet Minton's fault.
I'm just saying. Okay, so just an update on...
Oh, yes, this is a bad circumstance.
Yeah, because Michelle bought these great toys that she wasn't going to give the dogs, and then...
Apparently, at least one of the toys was grabbed by the dogs, yes?
Sneaky.
Yes.
So, unfortunately...
Shroomy.
The little mushroom adventurer just did not make it out alive.
Shroomy was... So. It was a TPK for Shroomy.
Okay, lastly...
And on that note...
Yeah, on that note, yes. Our community spotlight this week was for Mr. Jim Kenny, who is a phenomenal person, often behind the scenes. Many of you may have met him at conventions, but he's very quiet, I think, with a lot of people, like kind of just... You don't get to see... We get to see it because he does stuff to help us, but I don't think other people get to see a lot of the stuff that Jim does to make our lives significantly better. Like, for instance, he's a VIG at Gen Con, and he makes sure Alphinius and Mike get a great room in the hotel that they love every year. And
he's always there when we're building the dungeons.
Yes. Lawrence put this in there. So when we were going to do the slime dump for Alphinius and Luke, Lawrence was like going to build this 500-pound like wood like structure, just spend a ton of money on all this wood and build this huge structure because Lawrence is really into woodworking. And Jim was the one who was like, no, you're going to get cheap PVC pipe because you're going to throw this away, and in
the tub.
Yeah. And so Jim was the one who helped him construct it at their Airbnb. And yeah, it was just craziness.
It worked out great.
So anyway,
he got dunked in the slime.
And he does for like pretty much every game show. He does the math.
Yes.
And math is hard.
Especially when he's always up there putting up the math. Some people are yelling at him. He has to take massive abuse.
Ken is saying,
Jim, you're marvelous.
I enjoyed learning about Jim. I greatly enjoy these spotlights. Thanks, Ken.
Thanks, Ken.
Okay. Anyway, and I mean,
hey, Ken, I want to make sure something. Ken was doing a review of the Tomb of Gyzaengaxx before we sent it off to print our final review. I want to make sure he's doing it because I don't know if your brother and Iad have gotten him hooked up yet. So I'm doing a check right now.
Live on stream.
Live on stream.
Have Lawrence and Iad gotten you set up for the...
Tell us the truth.
I completed the review.
Yes.
So they are on top of it.
Because we are going to send that to print, cameraman.
I am very excited.
Yes.
Okay.
The tariffs notwithstanding. Yes, all of the madness of the world of the last 60, 70, 80, 90 days, whatever it's been, 120 days. Boop. Oh, Jim is right in my face. Stop it, Jim.
Thank you, Ken. We appreciate you.
Indeed.
I'm sure many of the people on the stream will end up having their own community spotlight at some point.
But the real question, Ken, is, did you think it was good?
I mean...
That's the real question. Because I think it's pretty good.
Okay.
So I'll have to see what he says.
Okay.
He says that was crap. But it's
it was awesome.
Oh.
Was the word. Okay. Next up.
I think it is a good tale.
All
right, what do we got, Cameron?
We're going to talk about Gyzaengaxx.
Yes. So this begins the Environs of Gyzaengaxx walkthrough. So this is the environs, not the tomb. Okay, so this is all the area around it. And
this is the sandbox.
This is the sandbox for you to play in.
Yep.
Which has gotten a little larger than it was promised in the Kickstarter, I can remember.
I've heard. And also it was written out in detail in the newsletter yesterday. How much?
Lawrence.
See, this is why Lawrence had to come in, because if I was now still in charge
Listen,
of
here's
stuff,
the deal. We had time.
I think that my own heart would
because of the tariffs.
Died.
Because of the tariffs, we had time to add a few things that I felt we wouldn't have added if we had to send them out to print already. And so because of the tariff situation, we had some room to move, and that gave us opportunity to add some things. We also caught some mistakes that we might have printed, Camera Mandy. So that there is some benefit to this tariff, thing, which is not much. But anyway, so listen. So the Environs of Gyzaengaxx, understand, this is basically that whole area in East Verdestia associated with the eastern area of the queendom of Vanzentia. Right. So this is what it is. So we have done 2 maps of this sort of environs area that are zoomed in from the map, and we'll talk about that right now because we want to get you grounded. Okay. So first and foremost, the locality. The top left of this map that you can see there, this is the world map of the world of Zyathé. The top left continent is Verdestia, which was broken in 2 during the Woe of Ruin, and now is comprised of 2 major continents technically, but it's still called Verdestia, East and West Verdestia. All right, so East Verdestia is where Vanzentia is, and that is where the Environs of Gyzaengaxx are located. So let's keep going. So that is East Verdestia right there on the right-hand side, the eastern side, yes? And then if you go down to the next one, Camera Mandy, then we can show the queendom of Vanzentia. So Corey was very responsible, Lokabut was very responsible for the crafting of Vanzentia. And we always knew that Donovan and Vanzentia, along with, of course, the terrifying location of Valandia, which is to the south and east of this, would all be playing big roles in our world as time went on. And part of that, of course, was the addition, if you look down in the bottom right-hand corner of this little place we put there called Gyzaengaxx. And so you find a lot of Easter eggs in Vanzentia and Donovan north of it. And then this is the Gluvoik fiefdom. And this is where you find, if you look south of Hazendravel and north of the Gluvoik stronghold, almost directly north of the Gluvoik stronghold, you will see Gyzaengaxx. And that is where it is, right there. Mithril Mountains, all of this stuff, and the section that we are playing within the Environs of Gyzaengaxx. And this is only the first section, because there will probably be at least one more and perhaps 2 more of the Environs of Gyzaengaxx in the future as we expand upon these tales. But you see the 2 little pink sections are what are now mapped in the area. So it's called the Barrowlands, called the Barrows region. It's got a number of different names, and it encompasses the Western Barrows, which is the left-hand side, the Eastern Barrows, which is the right-hand side, and then moving into the mountains, actually encompassing a very interesting and intriguing forested area called Mythendel. So it is really, really wonderful, and we are excited to bring it to you. So, and it's coming. Many of you have gotten many of your digitals, but we are about to send stuff off to print, which are very exciting. Even though the cost, Camera Mandy, like by the gods.
Harry says, I've not yet heard someone blame the tariffs for making their product bigger.
Well, I mean, we're sitting around here, Harry, right? And there were some things that I do feel like, in terms of us trying to make our deadline best as we can. By the way, hello, my friend. Trying to get there as quick as we can and be able to do. Camera Mandy, is that little thing is that showing on the screen or just thing? On the TV? The cursor that is over my nose. Right now?
I do not think that it is over.
Did everybody get to see the cursor?
No, because it's just on.
It's just on the computer. It doesn't show on the actual print.
Yeah.
Okay, fine. Anyway, so there were some things that
cursor.
The cursed cursor. Ooh, yes. You could take that both ways, Camera Mandy. It could be like you with your foul mouth.
My foul mouth. My foul mouth.
You could be the cursed cursor, Camera Mandy.
Whoa.
Camera Mandy is known to drop lots of F-bombs around here, just so everyone knows. It's true. And Camera Mandy, just switch to yourself real quick and look at the chat and just tell them the truth. It will do you good. It will give you freedom to be able to say, yes, chat. I'm
Okay,
an
here's
F-bomber.
what I will say.
Say it, Cameraman.
At family dinner for Mother's Day, my father did say that he needs to reinstate the cuss jar because things have gotten a little loose around there.
Yeah. And you were.
By the way, my dad was in the Navy for like a good part of his
and he did
younger
years.
An
asshole, remember that?
Yeah, exactly. He ain't no innocent too. Okay, so yeah. Anyway.
Right. So anyway, what we are very excited about is not just today in Gyzaengaxx today, but we are excited to go south and north and pick up these other places and maybe even perhaps a little bit to the east as we expand upon the stronghold or expand upon the environs. But the Western Barrowlands is sort of where we will begin this discussion. And, you look at this on the screen, cameraman, and you can't really make this much bigger, right? That's about the size that it can be.
I can make it a little bit bigger.
Well, I did it for everyone. But Edvard, who does our maps, everyone knows this. I think many of us know this, is so wonderfully meticulous and detailed and cares so much about accuracy and making things right. Because he's actually doing quite a few of our images of Ethholm and Blun, and he did the maps of Ethholm and Blun. And so he's trying to get all of these, like if you saw the blood pit that I posted recently.
I grabbed it.
Oh, you grabbed it. Oh, you did grab it. So this is so wonderful because if you look.
So Edvard did this art.
Yes, Edvard did this art, but he also did the map.
Right.
And so he's trying to make sure that all the points of view are right based on the maps itself, right? And so here's the blood pit. And of course, Blun is down in a little canyon, right? And the mines are down in there and all of that stuff. And so he's got the walls behind, and it's just really, really good. I mean, just so good. Anyway, so Edvard does our maps. And so you're going to get two wonderful poster maps as part of the environs, both keyed and not keyed, right? So we'll have one that I think, no, not this one. These will be just the big poster maps. But go to the next one, cameraman.
Okay.
So, and this one I zoomed in because there is Ethholm right there.
Wait. Right, that little small
side, yes, by the lake.
That little tiny thing.
Yes, that is Ethholm.
It's so
see
tiny,
the village right in the middle of the little forest.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Someone I think in the chat said something like, "It's cool that like you get pages and pages of content on these like little tiny areas."
Yes,
but like scale wise, how big is that? Like,
I should have put the scale on there. I'm trying to remember off the top of my head.
It just looks like such a tiny little village, but when you look at the actual pictures of it, it doesn't look that small.
Well, I mean, he's not drawing every building in for the depiction, right? He's just drawing in the little village icon, if you will.
I gotcha.
He's not actually trying to draw. In this situation, he's not going to that depth. That would be outrageous, I think, to try to get that done on all these maps, especially if we're trying to be accurate for all of them. Think about drawing Darkenhaven, for example. Huh.
We have a beautiful map of Darkenhaven.
No, I'm talking about if you had to draw it on the main. Map.
I see. Okay, so this is the main map, and then we'll have a separate map.
And then there are smaller maps.
I gotcha.
There's lots of really wonderful. It's a wonderful package. So if you zoom in, we can see Ethholm here, and that's the road, and this is where the characters will find themselves. But the interesting thing about this environs area is that it has these rolling hills, these rocky crags, these barrows, all of that kind of stuff. And there's not just sort of the Vanzentian settlements, right? The villages and the hamlets and those kinds of things and the farmers. There's also sort of these nomadic groups that run around a little bit, and they follow the old ways. So you might come into a hamlet, and that hamlet is actually more of a hub, if you will, for a few different of these nomadic groups that are running around.
I really like this art.
Isn't that great?
Yeah.
Benjo did that. It was actually a paint over from a piece that I purchased from Shutterstock that I thought was pretty good, but I sent it to Benjo. I said, Benjo, this needs some help. And he really, really did a nice job making it wonderful. Anyway, so the old ways actually have some pretty creepy stuff that goes on with them because it's related to Asmundus,
excuse me,
the Lord of lawful evilness. He's a bad dude. Goodness gracious, Cameramendi. Are you okay? You need a cough drop?
Oh, I got coffee.
Oh, we'll drink coffee. Anyway, so it's a land of rolling hills and craggy ridges, and it's not big mountains, right? It's the mountains as you get further to the east is where you start. When we move more to east, the eastern Barrowlands. That's where you find more of that. Yeah, you go to the next one.
Okay.
And it's a really marvelous region because what it has is it has literally you could come upon a settlement that's 3 buildings. It's a sort of a wagon wheelwright thing, a funky little inn and tavern place, right? And perhaps a general store, and that's it. That's all that's there for the hamlet. But if you think about the opportunities, when you think about some of those old westerns where people came, the heroes would come into these tiny little towns with very few people living there, and they've been taken over by bad guys. I mean, there's so many wonderful things you can do with this.
Yeah. So how tough are these? Because I feel like they would have to be pretty tough. These people who live there to be able to defend themselves.
Of course, because there's monsters and there's creatures, and of course the whole region is a little bit infected with corruption because this was an area where the Genevian cabal, which if you watched our Gyzaengaxx, Tomb of Gyzaengaxx tour, you know a little bit about the Genevian cabal. Long ago, they came here and they built fortresses and strongholds and secret hideouts and all kinds of stuff because they were dedicated to trying to take down the Aethernic Empire. And this was one of the areas where the Genevian cabal kind of built some of their stuffs, in particular the Nether Vortronyx, which abides somewhere in the region. So there's a lot going on here, and it's really a wonderful campaign area. And honestly, could be placed in anyone's world, right? You could just lift it up and place it just about anywhere in your world if you have your own world.
Cassia says, that lake next to Ethholm suggests to me any malevolent crocofrogs have an easy way to sneak up to the place.
And there are crocofrogs.
No, I really like the idea that there's these little places the characters can stop, have a quick conversation, have a quick meal with someone, learn some lore that might help them. So if you were to run this.
Oh yes, so the environs.
So if you're to run the Tomb of Gyzaengaxx and you're trying to get them up to, if you're doing travel,
grab things out
if you're doing travel ahead of time to get them to the place, this is the kind of stuff that I think would be really fun to have. Kind of and feed in some of the stuff from the Tomb of Gyzaengaxx. I'm sure there's rumors and lore and stuff like that they could infuse into the campaign.
And we also set it up so that when you're in these areas, there are pre-placed encounters.
Sorry, David said you can hear some rumors about Alphobia. Alphobia has definitely been through these places.
I'm sure that he has wanted posters everywhere already. So,
oh my goodness.
Anyway, but the thing that we did with the campaign, and people know that I believe this philosophically, is that there are some areas that in the campaign setting that are already placed. This is here, right? If you go here, this is here. But there are lots of other things that you can kind of place as you see fit. So there are encounters and events, not just monsters, but I'm talking about locations that don't necessarily have to be in the same place on everyone's map. So for you as a game master, you kind of get the latitude to say, this might work perfectly here, and just insert it in, which I like.
Yeah.
All right, what's next, Kimberly?
The art that somebody wants on a picture on a who I don't remember who it was, but they said Mark. I think it was Mark Chambers. I think he said, I want this on a shirt.
Yeah, so these are 2 giant eagles coming into attack, and Kishore.
They got flames on them.
Well, they're not burning, right? But there is a little bit of a feel to that, right? Kishore,
coming in hot.
Yeah, Kishore is very expressive of color, as we all know from the works that he has done for us. And,
didn't Alphobio write Ecstasy in Ethholm? Yes.
No, he did not.
I'm texting that to Carrie.
No, you're not. Ecstasy in Ethel. By the gods.
Make it so.
By the gods. Alphobio's romance novel line. All right. Anyway, but we have so many magnificent monsters that are in here that you can, take and use, including the first appearance of one of the dragons created by the Lords of Corruption, which is the Voidwing, which is really, we'll talk about that in the future as we go through the tale. What, cameraman?
I'm just laughing about Ecstasy and Ethholm.
Cameraman.
I'm sorry.
I like cackling about poop and laughing about Ecstasy and Ethholm.
You know what? I'm slap happy and I'm okay with it. So,
all right, let's do the next one.
Okay,
and then we'll be done for today. So, also because it is called the Barrowlands, because for many, many, many centuries, many people have been interred inside these barrows in all of these little hills that are all over the Barrowlands, in particular, the Western Barrowlands. So, of course, because of that, there's a lot of creepiness that goes on. And, of course,
these are ghosts.
Or whites, or wraiths, or I don't know. What does the chat think they are?
Yeah, I'm curious because they're transparent to me. So,
I mean, it looks sort of transparent, semi-corporeal.
You can literally see the rocks.
I think they could definitely be wraiths.
Okay, I'm curious to see.
I think they could definitely be wraiths.
Okay,
without a doubt. And look at them. They look
Harry says wraiths are transparent.
Benjo did this one. So I love this one.
It is a really good piece of art.
Really good. So,
I mean, like, do you have to fight them, or can you help them, like,
be their pals?
Like,
hello,
release their
wraith.
souls? And
You're so sweet.
Okay.
Did Aragorn look that guy in the face and go, "We'll be friends, guy"? Or did he go, "You will suffer me"?
Yeah, but he did it to help release them back into for their afterlife.
Oh,
so, yes, he released them.
I mean, they were happy at
the end. He says they are ghosts. What would you say? Were those ghosts inside the mountain?
I would say they were ghosts.
Okay.
Yes.
I feel that is what this evoked to me. It was like,
but they weren't. I don't think they were as potent as ghosts in Dungeons and Dragons, because if they were, there were way too many of them. They would have even overwhelmed our marvelous 3 heroes that were in there at the time.
Well, unfortunately, Eric.
I think the chat would agree with me on that.
So anyway,
and by the way, Kiki, hello, my friend. Good to see you. I think I have one more. Do I have one
Ken
more?
Ken says, no, you don't.
Oh,
I play a lot of clerics, so I would introduce these guys to the wonders of radiant damage.
Oh, yes. Radiant damage does good hit upon creatures such as these. Anyway, so what time is it, Kimberly?
We still have 10 minutes.
Okay, perfect. So because
put into the chat, because we're doing a drawing.
We're doing the drawing.
We don't know what we're giving away yet. That's one of the issues. And we haven't discussed it.
It'll be something cool.
Yeah, it will be. It will totally be something cool. So put in the chat, #ghost.
Ooh.
#ghost and be entered to win.
Something fun.
Something fun.
I hope you keep track of all this, camera Mandy.
Huh?
I hope you keep track of all this.
I do. But I don't think we did it last week. If we did this last week, can you guys remind me? Because I went back and rewatched the end of the episode and could not find it. So...
Well, if we did, we'll give away something else.
Yeah.
Either way, it's okay. It's fine.
Oh, Hentaya says you did not. Okay, that's helpful to me.
So anyway, so the Barrowlands is named after these barrows, and this brings a lot of interest and intrigue to the tales, because as you're traveling around, there's lots of these, places, these graves, and some of them have been robbed and disturbed, and creatures and monsters come out of them, right? Think of undeads.
The prize should be ecstasy and at home. We write a romance novel just for the one person.
Just for the one person who won.
Yeah.
That's something we would do, Cameron.
Well, no.
So
it doesn't matter if it's ghost or ghost, because this is all manual. So I have to type it into a spreadsheet.
It's true. Absolutely true.
Yeah.
So
a signed copy of
the signed
Belinda,
copy.
Belinda says a signed copy of
Very, very good. So also, were we going to announce the decision on the name of the title?
Do you have a decision?
We should do it next week. I think we have a decision.
I think that the decision is great, but you weren't so sure last time I talked to you.
Let's do it next week.
We'll make a big to-do of it.
We'll do it next week. We'll make a big to-do. We can even perhaps invite the person on.
We're
going to try to do that. See if
that's a good idea.
Yes, we should do that.
I'll message that person.
Because there were so many really good, funny, interesting. The biggest problem for me, and everyone who submitted names, I think people who've been listening to this, was the reason I love the Temple of Existential is because not only did it sound menacing, it was also funny, which is really hard to do both of those, right? It's really hard to do both. And that was probably what pushed this name over the top for us for this tome. Yes, you agree with me?
Yes. Ken's saying that we should do it this week because he's leaving on a 2-week trip and won't be here next week.
Well, Ken, you just have to tune in on your trip. Ms. Goo and I are leaving on our special jaunt, which we're going to do some. We are going to do a game with that. So we're going to do a game, Wendy. So it'll be fun.
And next week we're going to continue the tour of
Gyzaengaxx.
The tour.
Yes,
so
we'll do that next week.
Yeah.
And then did everybody put in the hashtag ghost?
Yep.
Are you going to draw the winner?
No. It's one of the ongoing ones.
Oh, this is the ongoing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, this is the spreadsheet one.
Oh, the hashtag ghost.
Well, and the spreadsheet ones, we give away the best stuff. So, because
I agree with that.
Because they take me a lot of time and effort. So not a lot of time and effort. Not a lot of effort at all. It's literally just typing things in. But it's finding the time. That's the thing. So
we will start the little thing for Ms. Goo, because Ms. Goo and I are going on the 40th.
Okay.
And we're going to do a game. So I want to talk to you about it, because I think I got some good rules.
Okay.
People can play with us.
Sounds good.
And we'll do some posting in the Discord, posting in the den, and we'll do some clues, and we'll do some interesting things. And I hopefully it will be a fun little thing and not boring to people.
So Cassius argues, maybe we just do the cover of Ecstasy and At Home and have people win that.
Well, if I did that, then I have to get a piece of art of like Alfabio with some hot person across from him, running their fingers through his, it has to be doesn't have to be.
It has to be like
that.
A Fabio.
Yeah, with the moon in the background.
It has to be a Fabio-esque cover.
Yes, with the moon in the background and all of that. Doesn't need to be all of those things.
I'm debating, man. Okay, let us not make an impulse decision here.
Yes.
Because this sounds like a really good idea. But then when you look at our backlog of art, it is too incredible. But I will keep an evening in Ethome in mind. So for the future.
It's not an evening in Ethome. It's ecstasy.
Ecstasy in Ethome. Yeah, the evening in Ethome.
Do not screw
is a different thing.
Yes,
that's right.
Ecstasy in Ethome.
Okay, ecstasy in Ethome.
This is insanity. Anyway.
Purdy Nerdy has volunteered to write the Alfabio
novel. Yes, no.
Oh,
damn romantic. All of you, stop.
Please post it in the den.
You are insane.
with a strong disclaimer.
Yes. No. Stop.
Don't post it in the den. Don't post it in the den. I'm just kidding. I lost my headphone. But don't post it in the den.
Did you just go, ah?
Yeah, because I lost my headphone. Okay. It came out of my ear. I'm like, ugh. But I mean, I'm kind of like, post it in the den. But then I'm kind of like, I don't want to.
So I have another thing.
I don't want to upset people. You know what I'm saying?
I have one more thing.
With our smut. What's up?
Smut. Okay, listen. Yeah. So we are coming back from this vacation, which is our 40th wedding anniversary celebration. And we're going to do the Contributors Guild again.
Oh, I have a note.
Yes.
Create a villain.
That is exactly.
Create a villain. Okay.
We need to have a villain, a good villain, and remember, we won't do portraits of all of them because it gets too crazy expensive. But I think we're going to do that, so you can start thinking about your villain. And because there is some part of me that wants to do a villain's repository. It might be only digital, but there's some part of me that wants to do this.
Love it.
So put that on your list, chat, and then start thinking about that. And
where's the villain going to be at? Is it for?
I don't know yet. I want to talk to the team because I think I want it to be for the Greenwood stuffs because Ed is beginning to work on that now, and so that's another thing that we're doing with Ed. So but I want to have some talks and a few people I want to chat with and see what would be exciting. But I do think to create a villain would be really great. If someone does want a portrait of said villain, we might have to do a little money exchange for that. There might be a few that we would do portraits of, but we won't be able to portrait. If we get 150 villains, we won't be able to portrait them all. So it's just, what are you laughing at, cameraman?
I'm just smiling at the chat. Ken saying that him and his wife are a year short of their 30th anniversary.
Wow.
Pee Wee Woo saying put the Ecstasy and Ethome in the same place where Mandy hides her stockpiles of F-bombs. Villains. This is Hentaya. Villains Repository, 128-page full glossy source book to be added to the existing oversized set. So,
yes.
Scary Guy is asking, can you only do one villain?
Probably only one. Because that's the way we do our submissions.
But all your best stuff is that one.
Right?
So, an evening in at home should be the travel guide.
Oh yes.
What's the actual travel guide called?
An evening in Ethome is actually the title
of the artwork
that we are doing, which has all of the legends in the Grey Hawk Inn.
Yeah.
Which, if you participated in the Kickstarter, I think you get one of those.
Yeah.
So very fun.
It's Lore Long Lost.
Lore Long Lost is
the travel guide that
correct.
Corey has written.
Yes.
Okay. Cool. Okay. Well, with that,
everything else, any other questions from the chat?
Yeah, you guys have any other questions, let us know. Otherwise, we're gonna sign off a little bit early.
Really? Letting all our friends go early. That's not like us.
All of 3 minutes, but probably not. We'll probably end up just chatting. But all right. Anyway,
actually, we could stay for if folks can go. We can do the sign off. But if folks want to stay and just throw a couple chats up before we leave, we can do that.
I know questions are coming in, so we've clearly answered all the questions about snails.
And it's a beautiful day outside here in Colorado.
Bertha Benz.
We're not talking about snails' sexual opening.
Yeah. Oh my God. Okay. With that,
may all your adventures be sticky in more ways than one.
Bye.
Bye.